And we are live. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wolf. Happy Thursday. It's great to see everyone here. Welcome to a trading stream with Ostium. We have Flo over here from Ostium. You guys recognize him from all the spaces, I'm sure.
Yes.
We also have Bad Price from all the spaces and Stock Sniper / Bitcoin Sniper. So a lot of recognizable names and faces from our market talk and trading conversations. We're putting them all together today to do a trading stream. It's a bit more educational focus. This is a bit more for fun. And so it's going to be mainly, we're going to talk about the markets a little bit, and then we're going to choose a couple assets to trade on Ostium's platforms. You guys can check out and see how that is. And especially for people who've been hearing about Ostium, we've been talking about them every space. You guys can actually see it in action a little bit and see it's not actually as hard as you think to place a couple trades. And then from there on, you're off to the races. So anyways, Flo, I'll pass over to you for some opening remarks. Are you excited for the conversations? Not every day we get to pull together some traders here and do a little bit of trading comp.
Yeah, excited for the conversations, excited for the competition. I mean, we could have picked the worst day. You know, the holidays were kind of a slow period, or the period leading up to the holidays were, a little bit of low vol. But I mean, look at prices now. We've been vol has been picking up here. I think the VIX is back up towards, what was it when I was 17, 18 again. Oh, it's actually nuked. It's okay. So volatility is down in TradFi markets, but it's still, I guess, we're keeping it up in crypto. So
Yep.
let's hope that when we're trading, like we get these high volatility
Yeah.
assets, because I'm looking at ETH, I'm looking at Bitcoin, and they're looking somewhat potentially precarious. But I'm curious to hear what Bad Price, what Sniper think about various markets. Because we are seeing some divergence in particular between crypto and between the broader kind of like TradFi indices, the
Oh
Nasdaq,
yes,
S&P, etc.
definitely. Yeah, I was gonna say let's I'll throw it over to Sniper first. But Sniper, real quick, let's just get a just take like 30 seconds or minutes. Quick introduction on who you are, what kind of trader you are, just for some context, and then would love to pull up your charts if you want to give a few thoughts on the S&P, on any of the stocks or cryptos that you're following, and we can kind of just kick it off from there and just kind of dive into a little bit of some market conversation.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Thank you for having me on. I gotta say, as far as it goes inside of the stock market, when I look at this overall, well, actually, I'm going to dive in towards who I am a little bit first. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm Stock Sniper and Bitcoin Sniper. I've been trading for about 5 years now. I traditionally have traded stocks and options now for about 5 years, and today we're segueing over towards the Bitcoin side of things and trading some on-chain assets with Ostium today. Really looking forward towards this, and I have to say, if I'm trading something that is on-chain, it's going to be with Ostium. But when I take a look at the market overall as a whole, it looks like a majority of our earnings from this quarter were pretty good for the most part, and we saw lots of CapEx spend increases, so we can pretty much read more money towards NVIDIA. And it seems like the whole AI is going to boom even harder in this upcoming quarter right now. We're on the verge of some humanoid robots, automated cars, lots of exciting things going on right now. And I personally believe we're on the verge of the fourth industrial revolution. I've been saying it all over and over again on X, but I think that the world's going to change quite a lot in the next couple of years. But as of right now, the earnings from this quarter were plenty of surprises, and when we start to see lots of surprises, we tend to see the market start to gradually trade higher. But that's pretty much my overall view on the market right now. I can get a little more in depth later, but I would just have to say, in a 1 minute overview, that's what I got for you.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Beautiful. Beautifully done. Bad Price, same to you. 30 seconds, minute. Take a few seconds, just talk about you, and then we can dive a little bit into some of your thoughts on the markets, and then kind of a full-blown discussion and dive into some of the assets as well, poke into some of the ones you guys are specifically parsing apart here. But Bad Price, I'll switch to you, and I'll pull up your screen here as well if you want to pull anything up.
Yo, what's up? What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Sniper. When I look at traditional markets, right? Like, honestly, I've been expecting a pullback. But this thing just seems like it does not want to come down. Like when I look at momentum on daily and higher time frames, I see divergences. Uh, Money flow's been trending lower while price has continued to just kind of chop around and slowly grind higher. But it looks like when I look at lower time frames, it looks like that money flow is starting to turn back to the upside. So, yeah, I'm real curious to see how this plays out. One thing that I've really been paying attention to, though, is gold. So like we've seen this in the past a lot, right? Like we've seen so far this cycle, like Bitcoin kind of trailing gold, and gold just continues to rocket higher. Meanwhile, Bitcoin to me right now, we're pulling back, and honestly, I think we have a bit of a deeper kind of correction. So it's going to be interesting just to see, like, I think, Flo was saying kind of like that divergence right now that we're seeing between like traditional markets and crypto. But yeah, I mean, I still expect a lot of volatility for the rest of this year. I know the extended cycle conversation has been getting kicked off a lot lately. And me personally, I just kind of expect business as usual that we've seen in the past. Like if you remember last cycle, same kind of talk was happening around this time, but I'm completely open for it. Like if it happens, it happens. But, I'm just kind of sticking with the trend until proven otherwise. Honestly, I've turned a bit defensive. Like I've talked about this in our spaces, but last time Bitcoin
Your
printed.
bad press. We may for full strategy. We may dive into this in a second here, actually. So I'm just
No,
gonna,
it's cool. I'll let it go. I was just saying I've overall I've gotten a bit more defensive, protecting my profits, all of that.
Totally. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, we're closing up here on the last literally few weeks here of a 4-year cycle. So if we're going to see the end of the cycle, it's going to be literally the next few weeks. So I don't blame you for being defensive at all. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the conversation is really heating up because we're in the end game for whether or not we're going to see extended cycles. We're going to see Bitcoin continue to track on the stocks, or if we're going to see just playing of the exact same thing. We'll see what happens. So I appreciate that from both you guys. And I know we're going to dive into the market a little bit. And just for the viewers at home, and we're basically the way we're going to run this is like the first few minutes, we're going to talk about the market a little bit, dive into some of the charts, see what these guys are looking at, and parse those charts apart a little bit, do some TA education, things like that. And then we'll spend some time choosing an asset for the folks to trade here on Ostium. And then we'll have about half an hour where we're going to do some scalping, some live trading here with Stock Sniper against Bad Price, seeing who can out trade the other one. And so that's kind of the agenda for people who are watching at home. So if you're excited to do it and join us with us, please do retweet the stream, I should say, not the space. Retweet the stream and let people know that we're out here. Yes, tag your friends. I'm also going to pin a comment here under the stream if you're watching on X. And if you're watching on YouTube, it should be in the description of a link to go to Ostium if you guys want to start trading alongside with us. I highly recommend it. If we're going to be here on the platform, you might as well watch and trade alongside of us. So that's kind of my thought there. So I'll drop that here in a second. But yeah, Flo, I didn't know if you wanted to share your screen at all. And I don't know if you pull up any specific charts or S&P even, or any broad news channels or things to talk about. But if you wanted to share some of your thoughts on the market, where you're sitting at, if you have any thoughts on the 4-year cycle, or even some more short to midterm stuff, in the spirit of trading, would love to kind of dish the mic over to you and see what kind of thoughts you have as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can just share some market thoughts.
Sure.
I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of have more questions about what people think about a couple of things.
That also works too.
So
I'm happy for that.
I'm kind of curious, since we talked about gold, we talked about Bitcoin and and the green equity and like gold performance, for example, right now, and Bitcoin. So I'm kind of curious, what your thoughts are behind the potential, causation for that. Why, gold, obviously, this has been a big narrative recently, has been outperforming Bitcoin over the last few years. I think, there's a lot of potential reasons that I've heard about it, but yeah, I'm curious to hear your takes about like why gold has been outperforming, I think, since like, last cycle, the last 2 to 3 years, and why that is. And if, something that we've talked about on Spaces a lot with bits, for example, is BTC XAU chart. So like the BTC gold chart. And if you see any significance there, and if you think that, for example, the move recently of gold starting to outperform Bitcoin again even further, if that's like a risk off move, or what's your interpretation? Pretty curious.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take this one. I got to say, in my opinion, at least, and this is just my observations on this situation, but I personally think gold is one of the best proxies for a hedge versus the US dollar. I think that a lot of the money that you're seeing rolling into gold over the last 2 to 3 years is coming because there's a slight lack of trust in the US dollar at certain points. Now, Bitcoin is also a great proxy if that is your investment thesis. The thing is when you take a look at some of the people that are buying gold and you look at some of the institutions that are buying gold, you're going to notice a lot of Gen X on there. And you also know when it comes towards Bitcoin, as far as retail investors or non-institutional investors, you can notice Bitcoin is definitely going to be more popular with your Gen Zs and your millennials, and slightly less popular with your Gen Xs and your boomers. I personally believe that a huge reason why we've seen a lot of this gold run is because of the lack of trust in the U.S. dollar. There's different reasons. Part of it was towards the end of the previous presidency and previous administration. There was lots of concerns going there. And that's why also I believe you were starting to see gold, again, week after week after week, continuing to make new highs over and over and over again. But at the same time as this, we're hearing all kinds of crazy news. Then Trump comes into office. We see tariffs are coming around. Gold is higher than it's ever been. It's not even close. And I personally think, again, that's just because of a lack of trust in the US dollar. And you're also seeing the same exact thing roll over to Bitcoin. You're seeing Bitcoin make some crazy levels earlier this year. And again, I think that these are both just anti-USD proxies. I'm not saying that, there's many other investment cases for Bitcoin and gold, but I'm saying that I think that there's a lot of it rolling into it this year, specifically for that reason. Especially when you look at some of the older crowd and some of them making decisions on it. But I'm going to go ahead and say that's why I'm taking gold to outperform Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think there's macro reasons, but particularly the political kind of like reasons behind it have kind of like taken a little bit of the reins recently. And yeah, like you said, distrust in policy, whether in the Fed or whether that's in fiscal. But yeah, I think I pretty much agree for the most part, for sure. Not sure if Bad Price any other opinions or. But yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Bad Price?
I agree with all of that, right? Like it just keeps getting these events that just give it another run. Like, we saw a war, gave it a run, growth fears, gave it a run. So it's just been one thing after another. It's just all lining up for gold to kind of continue to outperform. Cade, what's the name of I'm drawing a blank right now. You have him on our spaces all the time. He talks about the big kind of like cap rotation event that's happening into gold.
In our market talk
used to be
spaces?
like a military weatherman or something.
Oh, North Star.
Yes, North Star. North Star talks about this a lot.
It does.
And
That's right.
yeah, we're gonna see if his thesis plays out. But so far, it looks like it's going to.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Love that. That's a great question there, Flo. And I was also kind of curious on some of y'all's thoughts on how you guys plan to trade. So you guys are both, you guys aren't maybe specifically scalp traders. You guys are trading these markets relatively frequently. You're in and out of positions and stuff like that. How do you guys plan to be trading over the next 3 to 4 weeks? Bad Price, you mentioned your strategy is going to be slightly more defensive when you're looking to enter and exit plays. Sniper, I'm not sure of your strategy exactly yet. Sniper, maybe I'll go to you first and just get a bit of your strategy on how you plan to rock out the next couple weeks, couple months here.
So even today, I didn't trade this morning. I was looking, the setup formed, but we had some economic data coming in 2 minutes. Therefore, I didn't touch it.
Makes sense. How about, more midterm as well? I guess for us in the Bitcoin world, we're more thinking short to midterm in the next 4 to 6 weeks because the 4-year cycle. So maybe it's not as specifically of a zoomed in part of the market for you because it's just more business as usual for you guys, I think. But for the Bitcoiners, I think they're all like very, very much kind of focused on the next few weeks.
I think it's a very trappy market. And I think that, with some of this trap, that's what you have to identify this early into the market. And considering that, we see lots of these traps. For instance, Bitcoin broke $110,000 today. It might be at $111,000 tonight. And that's just to grab everybody's longs, right under 110,000. I think that, you know, a key towards trading trap markets is identifying them early into it and, you know, keeping everything short, smaller size, and trading very responsibly.
Boom, boom. That price. What are your thoughts? How's that strategy shaping up?
Yeah, overall, you know, more hedging, uh, taking profits. Like I believe if you've been in, especially if you're accumulating during like the bear market, you've done extremely well, and you want to keep the profits, right? Like you always hear the stories of people round tripping. Um, so, you know, I just advise everyone to kind of like keep that in mind. If you've done very well, how much are you trying to squeeze, you know, out of this, you know, like every last drop or what? So, me personally, I'm protecting my profits. I'm hedging more, being more defensive. I just think we're at that point in the cycle, you know, that's kind of the play. If we continue to move higher, I mean, I will be leverage trading, like, but as far as spot buying goes, I've pretty much done accumulating spot. I'm pretty much a seller from here on out, and I will be trading around my position still with leverage. So
Gotcha.
overall, just defensive, more defensive.
Very nice, very nice. Flo, I wanted to. I was going to pull up my screen here and pull up the trading view that you had shared with me.
Yeah,
But I
can
wanted
do
to real
those
quick
as
for
well.
people who are interested with Ostium for the various assets we have. There's a bunch of options here, and so I wanted to pull this up and have you kind of like talk us through some of this. And also, is this link public for people? And like, are they also able to find this?
Yeah. So I mean, I could share that for anyone who's interested, or we could share it actually I'll share it in the X chat, or the X post in the comments.
Perfect.
Yeah, essentially, you know, we realize that there's you know, people who want to be able to chart externally, you know, outside the Ostium app. So essentially, we created a watch list that has all the Ostium assets, you know, everything, the crypto pairs, indices, FX, stocks, commodities, etc. So all the Ostium assets are here on this watch list. You can actually
Ooh.
load that into your own kind of like trading view. So, you know, you have that watch list there, side panel. And yeah, that's I'll post it in just a few minutes.
Dude, that's very cool. Very, very cool. Price, which of these assets are most interesting to you? Maybe besides the crypto ones, which of these kind of stick out to you?
You know, Nvidia. I think everyone's been paying attention to Nvidia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the metals. Like I saw, copper was down there.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, gold.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you trade the metals?
Yeah, one of the trades I've actually had on this platform was actually my first trade was with copper.
All right, very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I traded
Sniper, what about
some
you?
copper.
What kind of
I
things
mean,
stick
we
out for
had
you?
like copper. We had literally one of the most crazy events in copper markets in the history of like copper markets, you know, of all time, with Trump, you know, announcing those tariffs. And like that literally, like that was a move that like will be in history books of like, you know, copper and just like commodity trading. It's just like, yeah, there's a very, very wild time for macro, for commodities. And I mean, honestly, just for every asset class in general for the last
Well, the great thing here about Ostium is like, you know, looking at that list, you got a little bit of everything, right? And you can do it all from your wallet. Like
Exactly.
if you've been in crypto for a while, like, you know, that's pretty amazing. What is there not to love about that? Right? Like the money stays in my possession. I don't have to worry about you know, good old Sam stealing any more of my money, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
but
exactly.
yeah, I mean, it's just the peace of mind alone that you're going to get off of it is just pretty amazing that you can go in from your wallet, you can trade, you know, metals, you know, you got the mag there, right?
Yep.
Crypto, I mean, it's beautiful.
that
It is.
note, just like, because I mean, obviously, it's great to have all these assets, all these different asset classes. We have been hearing feedback recently. Something that we're looking at, it should be, we're maybe about a week's out, is going to be something a lot of people have requested. So again, like the MicroStrategy, Coin, Hood,
Oh,
Galaxy, Circle,
wow.
SBET, Bitmine. So those are all for sure being listed. We're looking at Gemini is going to be IPOing soon under Gemi or Gemi. So we're looking at that. And then, yeah, a bunch of alt pairs. Maybe, yeah, one thing that we're looking at, we want to list Hype as well. And just like a lot of these other tokens that maybe
Oh boy.
aren't available in other places with very much leverage. So as far as listing, as far as assets, we actually have some really, really big things coming soon. We'll probably make a big splash about it on social media here in the next few weeks. So yeah, you guys can a little bit of alpha drop.
All right, dude, let's go. That is going to be cool. To be able to trade Robinhood, MicroStrategy, a couple of those big names, I think that moves the needle more than people think. Like when you added the Mag 7, I feel like that changed the game for you guys. I mean, you guys were already that was a good move. I think that was a really, really good move to add that. So it's awesome to hear you're adding some of these popular stocks. That's
Mag 7 was awesome.
People want to trade. They want to trade the popular stuff. Like that's why people are in the markets. They're in the predictive markets because they're like, that's on TV. I want to bet on it, and like that's what they want to. That's how these people are trading. And so
they want leverage, though. They want high volatility. They want high leverage. So we get it. We get that for some people, even Nvidia, even some of these Mag 7 stocks isn't enough. So we've heard what you guys are saying. We'll give you the mid caps, mid to like semi large caps, high volatility. Have fun.
Dude, that's hilarious. Listen, we gotta. I think we gotta bounce this wheel here, man. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Sniper, Price, if you guys have any more thoughts you want to add in, tossing about the market, happy to throw it to you. But then I think we'll dive into some of these assets and
let's go to the wheel.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's run it. Here we go. All right.
The fun part, like the wheel of misfortune for some.
Oh my god, bro! People. I wish this website had like a song it could play. That way, like kind of play and dance together. But unfortunately, it's just a colorful wheel for all of you. We were able to stick in all the assets that we have in Ostium here. Hopefully, we're not missing any. And I know there's a bunch in here, and so hopefully we land on one that we're trading and talking about. So the rules are this. Bad Price and Sniper will each get one respin if we land on an asset that is undesirable, and they can choose whichever one of the two, or they can go with their first choice and say I'm rolling with that one. So it's up to you. We'll throw it to Bad Price first. We'll let him have the honor of the first spin of the Ostium trading competition here. Bad Price, let me know when you're ready, and we'll spin.
All right, so let me get this straight. We spin it, and then we have what? You said like 10 minutes to review.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll do a
10-minute
breakout. We'll do a 10-minute breakout. I'll talk between you guys, and we'll
do a bit of research, analyze the chart, the asset.
Exactly. Yep. Do a bit of research.
All right.
Do a bit
of just on the spot trading, on the spot force trading. Yeah. Let's speed run this. Click it. Let's go.
Run it. Here we go, baby. Bum, ba-dum, ba-bum. Wait, I can unmute it. Oh, there is sound. Oh. Wow. That's interesting.
Okay, solid.
Yeah,
I guess I'm gonna have to keep it, right?
I mean, you could. You can always spin again for fun, but
I hope you get the Mexican peso if you spin again, dude.
Yeah, right.
What do you think, Price?
Can I call a friend? Can I phone a friend?
Phone a friend, the lifeline.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to keep that one.
All right.
I was just like, we were talking earlier and I was like, yo, man, I just don't want to hit. I haven't traded FX in probably a little over a year or something. So that's just what I did not want to hit, but I'll take that.
All righty. And I'm resharing screen. Hopefully you guys can hear the sound this time if you guys couldn't before. But okay. Bad Price is trading SPX on Ostium. That is the asset you'll be trading. Bad Price, please adjust your Ostium thing to it. That way, if we forget, that we don't have to sit there and look like idiots, because I'm going to forget in 5 seconds. So here we go. We got Mr. Sniper. Sniper, are you ready?
I'm ready, and I hope it's some on-chain NVIDIA.
Here we go. That'd be epic. All right. NVIDIA.
Money.
Oh, Oh, bro, we got meta.
Meta's good.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's not a bad one right there. All right, Sniper, do you want to hold on to your meta or would you like to respin?
Nope, I'm gonna take the meta.
Alrighty. Here we
Yo,
go.
how's
We got
Meta doing today?
I don't know, actually. That's perfect. That's a great question, Bad Price. Why don't we head to Sniper's screen maybe and pull up the meta charts?
It is
actually.
a
I think
very
it'd be-
volatile day, actually.
Yes, indeed. All right, very cool. I actually enjoyed that wheel. That was
Or actually,
that
it's not. It was volatile earlier. Now it's flattening out. Let's pull it up on the charts though.
was, okay.
Might be
Yeah,
there
like
might be a
that.
move here. There might be something that you can ride into.
Yes.
bigger
All right,
move.
and Bad Price, Sniper, you both have around 10 minutes or so. So the clock is ticking in terms of doing some research, checking out some TA, if you have to do any kind of online research as well. Just kind of walk us through what you're thinking. So we'll go to Sniper first for the first couple minutes. Sniper, once you're kind of, said a couple things, I'll jump over to Bad Price. We'll see how he's looking on SPX. And we'll just go back and forth, every few minutes. I'll toggle back and forth a few times. So we got about 10 minutes or so. Sniper, what are you thinking, man? We're looking at meta. Well, you got which chart you got pulled up? You're on which chart is? I can't see. Is it 1 minute? We're on the 1 minute chart.
Yep, I got the 1 minute on Meta/USD.
Here we go, bro. Got the 1 minute.
I mean, we have how long to trade? Was it?
It's a
10
30-minute window. It's going to be a 30-minute window ish in that range, but around 30 minutes is ideal. So it'll be quick. It'll be probably a quick trade. So yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it does make
definitely
sense.
go to those lower time frames.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you've gotten a bit of bias, I think you're probably free to drop to those disrespectfully degen ranges. And by the way, for anyone who's listening, this is not specifically how we would probably encourage you to trade. More so, this is an example of just showcasing what trading could look like. So it's more so the case here. And so the traders here, these are both professional traders on their own who, do their own strategies. They have their own things that they do. This is kind of an opportunity here just to see kind of how their process looks like and how you can pull it off on Ostium. And if you guys want to try out Ostium, by the way, go to the comment right below us on X. If you're watching, you can click out the Ostium page. It'll take you there. Trade alongside of us. But yeah, this is kind of just us walking through it. So Sniper, I'll turn it over to you if you want to walk us through some of the things you're seeing and thinking.
For the sake of winning, I think I got to go with 100x leverage because, you can't really do that any higher
Make
than
it
that.
fun, user enjoyment. I mean, watcher
There you go.
enjoyment.
Yeah, of course. And I want to give you guys a good show. But, as we can see here, when we're taking a look at the Meta US dollar, I got two little levels. I just put a basic little support and demand, and you can see we've been trading inside of this channel. I got to be honest, this looks like a very boring chart. I'm going to be straight shooting with it. But, we can see like a little bit of resistance right there. So that might be what we're working with today. But, yeah, I'm taking a look at Meta, and, in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to do something. And, with 100x leverage, something's going to happen, guys.
Very true. Very true. Awesome. All right, we'll bounce over to Sniper. And one thing that might be interesting that I'm kind of contemplating is doing the second wheel purely for the volatility side of things, and maybe just having two assets to look at. If one's going to be way more volatile than the other, it maybe makes sense to trade the other one. So we can talk about that in a few minutes if it's looking like they're kind of just ranging and not doing too much action, just because we're kind of in more of a scalp range here. So Bad Price, I'm going to switch over to you. Let's see how the SPX is doing. I see you have Bitcoin pulled up right here, but I got your screen pulled up now.
Hold on, I should probably change screens to trading view, huh?
Either way, however you want to do it. You got a few minutes of just some TA and research and all that stuff. So just wanted to just kind of see your process for walking through it all.
Yeah, hold on. Let me switch this real quick.
And for people who are watching at home, if you haven't already, please do retweet the stream. Tag a friend, let people know live trading has begun. We've got
all right.
charts pulled up. Here we go.
Well, I'm looking on lower time frames. I busted just a fixed range profile across the top price action here. And honestly, I would like to see it kind of push a little higher for a short above like if you look right here, we came over the value area high and it just came right back down. And when I look at momentum, I'm already seeing some bearish divergence on these lower time frames. I'm on the 12-minute time frame right now. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of be chopping these time frames in half, and you know, a little bit of patience and waiting for something to set up here. Um, you know, obviously we have these time limits, so I'm going to have to bust a move regardless of
Bust
what.
that move, baby.
Yeah,
Bust
I
that
mean,
move.
that's
No
that's the
choice.
thing with this is we really can't you know, wait for the setup to come to us.
Right.
Like
Hey,
we
you know
kind of
what?
just
But that's
gotta.
okay
Promoting
because
accuracy.
part of the well, yes, but also part of the conversation is also to talk about that. You know, in these trading streams, it's an opportunity to talk like, hey, by the way, this is a zoomed in 30-minute window scalp trading where you're looking for the trade here. And so I wouldn't mind actually doing a bit of conversation on that as well, just maybe spending a couple minutes on that of, you know, that exact conversation of waiting for the trade to come to you, waiting for your setup to come to you, rather than going out and finding one and potentially forcing it in some circumstances.
I mean, technically, wait, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I was like, technically, if one person takes a loss and the other person just doesn't find a trade, like they won, right? No, you gotta
You
take a
know, I
trade.
thought about that earlier, Flo. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just like let Snipe. You know, hopefully, maybe he gets wrecked because it's like forcing our hand to trade, and I just sit around doing nothing. And like, okay, well, but no, I'm going to put on a trade, man. Like, you know, we're doing this mostly for fun to
Sure.
show off. You know, the Ostium platform. Um, so it's whatever. I do have like this little wheel that I can spin over here that has says like buy, sell,
Oh,
call, put, long. So I might just give that a spin if I'm running out of time and
sure.
roll with whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
mean, honestly, if you have a
We're running
30-minute
things
window, it can
right
be
now.
tough sometimes. So,
That's the meta.
yeah, well, one thing about me is I like to layer into trades, um, just like I like to layer out. So I kind of scale in.
mm,
Um, you know, if you have more arrows, you're more likely to hit your target, right? So I tend to break it up into several different, you know, orders, like 3 or 4 orders for an entry. You know, spread it out amongst the range. Um, Now I know with Ostium, because these are, I mean, Flo, if I'm correct here, these are pretty much getting rolled into smart contracts and all of that. So each buy, or if I short each sell, would be like a different kind of order. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like isolated essentially position or isolated margin.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So we'll see what happens. You know, I might do that anyway. Just fire off a couple orders, or I might break my normal protocol and just go in with one single buy order. Um, but we'll see what happens. It will be interesting to see if I do a few different orders, uh, like how we're going to calculate. I guess just get the percentages total or something. I don't know. We'll see.
very nice. Very nice. I like it. Let me pull back over to Sniper. Sniper, curious if you had any thoughts you wanted to add anything in regards to waiting the trade to come to you, your setup versus going out and finding it. I actually know people who go out and find trades and they do okay. I will admit I probably have not seen exact, you know, P&L statements all the way dating back to see every single trade to see whether or not they're long-term profitable. So I don't actually know, but I would love for you to kind of explain that and give some thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, I gotta say right away, this is a big don't try this at home. I don't think you could force trades kind of per se, like how we're doing it. I want you guys to also just understand the intention here is to entertain everybody and to show you guys what a wonderful platform Ostium is with lots of assets. And, you know, to show you honestly how simple and easy it is and to show you how much money you're leaving on the table by not using it. But I wouldn't necessarily say go out and try to force trades. If the setup isn't there, sometimes you don't have to necessarily do that. When I'm taking a look here at Meta, I mean, it's going to be hard to out trade SPX with Meta. You know, I kind of feel like Jon Snow going against all of those horses right now. But we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way. I'm taking a look through it right now and trying to figure out how I can really produce this much alpha.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
putting it into the grinder, like, you know, not like you said, this maybe in 30 minutes, it wouldn't be a setup that you could find normally, but yeah, we're putting it in the pressure cooker essentially.
Yeah, totally. I think that's good advice right there. Generally, I was gonna say also, I think we'll just do this for fun. I want to share screen again and pull up the Osmium wheel. We're gonna do one more spin just to have it in the back of our pockets in case Meta and SPX literally don't move. I would like to have Plan B in the back pocket. Just for the sake of entertainment, because if it ends up those are both boring and we're like, screw it, we're switching over last minute, we're just going to place this trade, no prep, and it's a better, more volatile asset, we're going to give that a run just for the sake of I'd like the option if we need to. So bad price, let me know if you're ready. We're going to give your second spin. You don't have to take this one. You don't even have to give it a second look if you don't want to, but it's going to be there in your back pocket if you need. So let me know if you're ready.
Getting the peso.
Yeah, sure. Give it a spin.
Mexican peso. Let's see if we get it. Mr. Bad Price. Backup option number 1, if needed. Oh, wow. It's almost.
If it gets SPX again, I'm like,
no way, dude. What? That's actually okay. Well, Bad Price, you faded to trade SPX, and that's your trade.
All right. Yeah, there it is.
The Lord has spoken. He says you will find a trade. Imagine if Snipe gets the same asset again. This would actually be crazy. What?
Very nice.
That was very close. So okay, Sniper with Apple. Okay, Sniper, you have the option now.
Cade's rigging the
switch.
wheel. Like I think we've figured out what's going on here. Cade,
Yeah, my bad.
cut it out.
Sniper, what are your thoughts, man? Do you want to pull up Apple actually real quick? I'd be interested in checking out that chart actually real quick. So
Oh yeah, we're trading
Basically
Apple.
got a gap up. I mean, to be honest, I get it. We basically had a gap up this morning. All the majors, everything's been kind of ranging since then. So if there's going to be a move, it might not get it within the 30-minute period. But let's see what we can do here.
Gotcha. All right, Sniper, what do you think? I got your chart pulled up now.
I honestly see two different setups that, I mean, if I'm going to force it, there are two forcible setups here. I can either trade this rejection at 230.05, or I can wait for it to break above and trade the breakout. But we're going to know an answer within the next minute or so. Something's going to happen here. This one's a lot more interesting than Meta, I'll tell you that.
Very interesting. Okay, so you're trying to catch a little bit of the momentum here, and you're looking to you're talking about catching a break here after it breaks right here.
Yes, sir. If we can break above 238.05 and hold it for a full minute, I will look to go long. But if it looks like we are having a hard time breaking above 238.05, then I will short it from here.
Got it. Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Bad price. I know you're not the one trading Meta, or sorry, you're not the one trading Apple, but do you have any thoughts on how Apple's performance is short to midterm, performance wise? Not sure if you keep up to date with all the stocks, but.
No, honestly, I haven't traded Apple in a minute.
Really?
Like it's been a long time since I've traded Apple. But looking at what Sniper is thinking, yeah, I mean, I kind of concur. Personally, I'd like to see the short being entered. Just go on and click the button, hit that short.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're right around the 10-minute mark. So if you guys are looking to enter a trade, you don't have to enter it right at this moment. You have the 30-minute window, but the trade needs to close at the end of the 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes from now, at exactly this would be 1:50 p.m. Eastern, your trade must close.
Snipe.
You're
going 100x.
Yeah, I got
100x.
Let's throw 100 on it.
Wait, hold on, but you can wait. If you want to wait for confirmation, you can. You have 30 minutes to make the trade. You don't have to take it.
I got my best shot here, I think, honestly.
Hey, well, you might catch his move now. All right. Walk us through the trade a little bit. I know this is a little bit more for fun, but I know that a little bit is also backed up by some cohesive thinking as well. You're a bit of risk reward as well, or risk management too.
So, guys, keep in mind that this is strictly for entertainment purposes. I don't even want to call it educational at this moment, but we can look at 11:06 earlier this morning, and we can see a nice rejection off this 238.05 level. We can also look earlier at 10:25, 10:20, and you can see we're having a hard time breaking above this level. Since then, it looks like we've traded below and we've had a little bit of a consolidation period. We're coming back up and we're testing this level again. I think, honestly, in this situation, I will bet on history repeating itself.
Makes sense. There's your thesis. There's the trade. And for people who are trading, that's literally how it works. Your thesis is this. It could go against you, but that's why you have risk reward, right? Sniper, if you could walk us through a little bit with the stop loss, the take profits, how you think about that, why it's important as well for newer traders. When you're like, okay, here's the range, here's my thesis, but it might go against me. Here's why I have a stop loss set.
Yeah, and I got to say, this is one of Ostium's better features. I'm glad that you brought this up, right? So Ostium, you can see right here on my right-hand side, I have a stop loss, multiple options for a stop loss, and I have a take profit, multiple options for the take profit. Now, Ostium did it very nice for you. You can see that the take profit is set to 25%. The first one is at minus 5%. This is literally some great pairings that they have here, especially for trading some of these leveraged assets. I think, honestly, that if you are new to trading and you are trading and you have no stop loss, I think that could be a little crazy, especially if in the event where some news can come out in that trade and there's nothing going to take you out of that trade automatically. So you are just free falling. I personally think also you have to know everything in a trade has to be predetermined. I can't go into this trade thinking, what am I going to do now? While I'm in this trade, that's a setup for disaster. Take profit and stop loss both have to be determined prior to entering the trade. And Ostium's a great tool because they're encouraging that.
Very nice. Yeah, I love that explanation. And honestly, the stop loss conversation, I wish was talked about more because it's so simple. And I feel like you could probably convert 90% of trading haters to non-haters if you just explain that the stop losses exist. Because it's so risky. I'm like, brother, there's actually an exact number of risk, and I actually calculated it, and I placed it, so I know exactly the risk I'm taking here when I enter this position. But you're right. If you don't have a stop loss, for people who don't know, if you have $1,000 account and you have no stop loss, you could ride that all the way to zero. 100%. It could go all the way down to zero, but the stop loss allows you to cut your losses early if the trade goes against you. Fortunately, if your risk reward set up nicely, you can keep losing and have one big win out of 5 trades and still be profitable. And so when I learned that about trading, it clicked. I was like, oh, okay, everything I've heard from non-traders is false because they left out the most important factor, which is risk reward, which makes this thing possible. And so, yeah, I love that explanation there, Sniper. Let me turn it over to Bad. Sniper, by the way, did you enter the trade fully? Did it officially enter?
I did not just yet. We are now at the top of this level. So it's.
I was going to say, do you want me to come back over, or you can also just give me a holler, kind of like on trading, if you're like, hey, I'm about to enter, just kind of like interrupt us.
To showcase these amazing take profits and stop losses, to make numbers easy, I have 100 USDCs that I'm trading. If you don't know, USDC is always going to be worth $1. I'm going to set my take profit at 50%, and I'm going to set a stop loss at 10%. And we're going to go short here. Let's see what happens.
All righty. There you go. You have it there. Awesome. Here we go. And you guys can watch along as he confirms the trade. And I think we're in.
We got a little issue.
Please disconnect your wallets. Unauthorized. Or maybe some kind of issue in the back end. So I'll switch over to bad price in the meantime. Let us know once that resolves. But solid. Okay, so that's kind of the mark. He's at the top of that range. So for people back at home, kind of make a mental note that's his ass in his meta trade. We got Sniper, or we got bad price back over here. I'm gonna switch over to his screen. I've got Ostium's pulled up right now. So I see BTC, but okay, now I see you switching over. So bad price, I'll turn it over to you, man. I want to get some of your thoughts on how everything's going on.
Yeah, keep switching back to BTC.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, you see, you just did it again.
Oh, wait. Oh, the platform is switching.
Yeah, the platform keeps switching back to.
Oh, interesting.
Let me make
You're
sure.
refreshing.
Yep,
What's that,
did
Paul?
it again.
I think it's on SPX. I think it's on SPX right now.
Yeah, it is. It kept switching back.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Just
All right. Yeah, walk us through a little bit. What do you see on the chart?
Well, let me see. Right now, it does kind of look like it wants to creep a bit higher. I don't think I'm sharing my trading view right now.
You can switch back and forth if you want. Just let me know.
No, I'm just looking at the lower time frames. I might just jump on a short. Probably needs a couple more minutes. Again, this is kind of can't really wait. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, no, it's
probably
you
just gonna
can.
have to go in.
You have 30 minutes. You can wait 5 minutes. You can wait 20 minutes. You can enter the trade in the 28th
Oh,
minute.
okay.
Close in the
All
30th.
right. Well, then, yeah, I'm going to exercise a little bit more patience, see what it does right here, and probably just crank up the leverage to
Yeah, there you go.
make up for any kind of time.
Sure.
Let me make.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and
Hasn't
same to you,
changed
Sniper.
back.
You can wait till the 28th minute and close the trade at 30
Oh,
minutes.
you see it changed back. I don't know if you were looking at my screen flow, but it keeps going back to BTC on me.
I'm going to switch back over to Sniper here while we're taking care of prices side. Sniper, I saw your message, so I see you're in. Looks like the entry did take. There you are. And yeah, like you said, top of the range. We're either going to head back down or we're going to break through. And so that's the
You
thesis.
see that wick?
Yep.
Almost
Wow.
Almost worst entry ever. But yeah, we're holding on to this. We're back to 238 on Apple, but I'm confident in my level. We'll see how it goes. But you notice how amazing feature of Ostium, it will draw your entry right there. I'm not even sure how I got there. But you could see that our stop is at the top, and it illustrates it for us nice and clean, very perfect. Honestly, I'm not the most concerned about this. I selected 100 USDCs for this trade. I still have 150 in the event that I was to take another trade. And I could still do it on Meta, I believe. But I'm pretty confident in Apple. Let's see how Apple takes us.
Very nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, and I was going to say, so for people who are trading at home, if you guys have ever sat through Wolf trading sessions with Jordan, they're pretty interesting because most of the stream is him chatting. And just like the 99% of the stream is not the trading. It's 99% of the time is talking. A little bit of just, I'd say it's probably 70% waiting, 25 or 28% TA and all that stuff, and 1% of the trade. And it's pretty interesting. Like a bad price or something. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this. But a lot of people have said trading is more boring than people let on. Like you end up just sitting around most of the time. Like once you've entered the position, you've already made your thesis, and the very final easy step is the actual clicking of the trade. Once you're in there, there's nothing to do until your trade either hits or it doesn't. And so I think these kind of sessions I think are interesting because they're so raw. And I know we're kind of chasing trades here and being a bit more silly with it, but it is also a bit more real. When you're on the charts, you're like, yeah, here's the situation and here's the thesis. So Sniper or Price, whoever wants to jump in. I'm not sure if Price is there. I know you're having some technical difficulties, but Price, if you want to thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading for like a thrill, then you're gonna get wrecked. So it's best to trading's usually boring, right? Like you have your setup, rinse and repeat. Yeah, Flo, keep switching back. How do I fix that again?
It's on SPX.
Yeah, I just switched it back to SPX.
Can you try resetting the app in the top right corner? Yeah, you might have to reconnect.
Strange.
Reset app. All right.
Checking back in with snipers. Yeah, still sitting here at this top range. Be curious actually to bad price. Maybe I'll switch over to you actually, just because we already have yours. I think this is your screen pulled up. Oh shoot. Just remove bad price. I keep removing him and not his screen. Wait, whose screen is this pulled up? This is Snipers. Okay, my bad. Bad price.
I'm reconnecting.
Okay,
I'm reconnecting to Ostium real quick.
Well, I was gonna say if it doesn't work for whatever reason, I'm happy to actually have us do the Bitcoin trade because I was gonna actually have you look at Bitcoin a little bit, have you and Sniper look at Bitcoin. A lot of the traders I've talked to are expecting another downwards move. Before, if we're going to see another move up, at least we're going to see a downward move first and tap some of those levels if we end up breaking through 109. And so we'd love to get some of your thoughts, Price, if you have any on Bitcoin.
Right now I have been looking at SPX, Cade.
I totally get it.
Just give me 1 second here. Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure, that I fixed whatever.
Oh, my bad. I thought I hadn't fixed.
Let's check out Apple, guys. We went from being down 9.5 USDCs. Now we're down 1.
Let's go, baby. We are back. We are so back. This is actually kind of exciting. This is interesting. Sniper, what are the emotions you're feeling typically when you're in trade? Like, walk us through for people who have only placed a couple trades. They're not really trading. They've just placed a couple trades. Walk us through the emotional side of things when you're in the middle of a trade.
Ever listen to Gucci Mane?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm joking. Honestly, I don't really have that many emotions while I'm inside of a trade. Everything is typically predetermined. And, you know, honestly, the only emotion I really get is if I'm inside of a trade for longer time than I want to be. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, you know, we're consolidating a little bit. And that's where I start to go crazy. Sometimes when I'm sitting inside of a trade, my emotions are telling me, you know, we got to get out of this somehow, you know, either stop me out or hit my take profit. Sometimes, though, it makes sense to cut when you're just consolidating it a little bit. But honestly, I think it's best for people to have as little emotions during a trade as possible. I think that the less emotions you actively have, the more reactive you're going to be. Everything will be a little bit better, honestly. And
why do you think the emotions come, though, if you can't stop them?
Great question. Typically when I'm trading, and, you know, it seems like another thing that's awesome on Ostium, you know, is I could just go zoom in on this full screen right here. And, you know, I could literally see my take profit and, you know, my entry. You know, the thing that's awesome about this, though, wow, look, we're puking. I don't know how this trade's still not green. But, you know, we're looking pretty good here. But honestly, I don't like to look at my dollars while I'm inside of a trade. I couldn't tell you how much I'm actually up while I'm inside of the trade until half the trade is done. I think that when people see, you know, dollar values while they're in a trade, they get a little bit more emotional. And, you know, I found the dollar values on this. And, you know, I honestly think that, I mean, again, everybody has their own thing, but the market doesn't care if you're up $200. You know what I'm saying? The market doesn't care. The market's not going to wait for Cade to make $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So if Cade sees the exit at $997, Cade should take the exit at $997. You know, that's just one thing I've kind of noticed. And because, you know, if you're up that like X percent or X dollars, you might be like, wow, you know, I can just wait a second to get $3 more. You know, but you're risking $997 to make $3. It's crazy. You know, and that's just some of the emotions going into the trade. And, you know, it kind of helps you get rid of some of this greed. Dude, this Apple short it just looks beautiful on the 1 minute. Oh my God.
Dude. Wow. Interesting, dude.
We're green on the trade now.
Money. 100x. How much money would that net you if you get this full take profit?
Right now, we had a terrible entry. You remember on the wick how we went?
But I saw Flo's message though. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Look at the chat. Real quick. It's the third message up.
I see.
Yeah.
But basically, you know,
So, you know.
right now we're up 2.5% or so, unrealized. Again, it's all shits and giggles until we do close the trade.
Yep, it's true. This is true. It's like taking a screenshot.
All right. Oh yeah. Am I not sharing my screen? Because
Oh yeah,
I'm in a trade.
Let me pull it up. Bad price. You are not sharing screen.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, you entered?
Yeah.
Dude, you didn't say anything.
Yeah, you kept that one a secret.
Yeah, you were talking.
I said earlier, I just jump in if you're.
I forced the issue. Like I had to force the issue.
All
right,
it's all good. All good. We saw
the trend right here. I'm going against the trend, so we'll see how this works out.
You're going
long. See how this works out, guys.
Walk us through your thoughts. What's the thought behind the trade?
Honestly, just kind of rolling the dice here. Like I do see like some bearish divergences, but I mean, price action kind of looks strong. Honestly, I would be looking for price to be a little bit higher. Let me see. Yeah, I would want price to be probably about 0.5% higher for me to actually like, you know, short here. But given the time restraints issues and everything else, I just went ahead, you know, like Snipe was in a trade. I felt left out. So I had to jump in. But in all honesty, I'm not feeling super confident about this one. So we'll see how it works.
Why don't you hedge? Just place a hedge.
I mean, I don't know if that's really in the spirit of things right now.
You know what I mean? Bro. What do you mean?
Wow, Cade, I just realized how I can go to the championship.
Dude, oh really?
Yeah.
Dang.
What if I just ran a straddle every single trade? It just left both of them for the full 30 minutes. it's gonna be tough for anyone to beat that.
It would be. It would. I mean, if you get wicked out on both, that'd be unfortunate. But you could do that, and it could work. But I feel like it's the same argument as like someone saying I could do that in like normal trading. It's like, couldn't I just, like, do these things? It's like, yeah, maybe. Like it might work once or twice, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what are your thoughts, Price? Like, or Flo? Maybe. What do you think?
Hang on, could I jump in with a little trade update? We're now
Sure,
up 7.5%. We're looking pretty nice. Apple is absolutely puking on the 1 minute. This is looking really good. I'm loving to see this.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. It's the sniper going down. Yeah, I mean, it made sense. And your thesis made sense as well, Sniper. I mean, you were like, look, it's rejected here multiple times. This is not a level that people like to buy at. And unless we see some disordered strength or some type of signal that says this move up is different, we're probably going to reject here. And so that was your thesis. I just feel like I feel like this trade was really nice because for traders out there who don't know anything about trading, to go from 0 to 1, I feel like you can learn that right now. In this trading stream, you can go from 0 to 1 right in this moment, because that setup, I feel like, explained well, can make sense to a trader, where you can actually get that light bulb moment where you're like, oh, I was not thinking about trading. I thought you just buy things and hope, and they either go up or don't. And it's like, no, there's systems here that people have. Like these guys, this is their career. Like these guys make money here. Sniper, I saw your message. Do you want to walk us through like strategy? If this is a real trade for you and you just happen to really be in this one for whatever reason, your strategy led you here on a real life trading day. Walk us through where you're at right now. Where would you be adding more to your position? Would you be taking profits here? Where would you be at? Oh my God.
Man,
you got a perfect setup. Snipe, you got a perfect setup on that, bro.
Woo-hoo!
Like you got a defined range, right?
Yeah,
You
that was a
caught the
perfect setup.
rejection. That was a perfect setup, dude. Like there's
Oh
no
my God,
way
man.
I can catch up here. I'm gonna have to like go ham on this shit.
Dude, Sniper's gonna buy us all steak on Sniper tonight. Let's go.
Brother, I got $11 right now. But
On the whole account though.
No.
I see.
That's
Hey,
fine.
I'm up 10
I,
cents.
I put 100 collateral in. So
Okay.
I see. Yeah, so I still have 200 or 150 on the sideline. Wow, man, this setup looks great. I honestly wish I took this on my actual options account, but when I'm looking at this, I would typically have scaled 2 minutes ago when I saw that first bounce. Once I get a sign of buyers being present, and keep in mind we're trading on the 1 minute here.
Bro, that's going back to the bottom of that range.
Oh
bro.
yeah, it's definitely.
That would be cool, man. I don't know about in 30 minutes though.
Bro,
we got less
there's
than-
no. Oh, that's a good point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's gonna take something to bring us down there that quickly. It is possible. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but I'm gonna have to say to get that 237.07 full target, it is unlikely. Now, if I was trading this though, I would have taken out half of my contracts 2 minutes ago, and I would be making less money. But now I would have set my stop at entry, so I guarantee that I have a win on the trade. There's no exception.
Exactly. I'm like, why this concept? Why I don't understand people cannot compute.
Yes, scaling out is one of the most important things as a trade.
Yeah. If you move the stop loss, you are now at a 0% risk. Like you cannot lose.
Well, you can't say 0%, but
do you
you
mean?
can't have a net loss. Yes, you're right.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, exactly. You get exactly the point. The whole point or the whole objective I take when it comes towards trading is I'm minimizing my risk as the trade progresses. Oh my God, dude.
Wow, look at that, dude. That's gonna hit the bottom.
Yeah, game over. Is this game over? That thing's
4
going
minutes
back
max.
to the bottom.
You might move your
15%
take
up.
profit.
Should we take? I mean, but I don't have scaling points here. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
the tricky
No, let
part.
that thing cook. It's going back to the bottom, bro.
No, I was
It's-
gonna say, but
it's
your take
going back
profit is
to the
way
bottom.
below that range.
Literally, this is you. Okay, so you go if you wanted to, you could go into the trade. So this is actually a good like educational part of it. And go to the pen kind of like.
Well, do you want to
symbol,
share screen, or do you want to have Sniper try and do this?
Yeah. I mean, it's literally like if he moves his cursor will just like literally tiny bit up. It's like basically on the trade. It's that it's like a pen and paper kind of like. symbol.
Oh yeah, Sniper. Do you see that? If you move your mouse like a few inches to the right, the little like pencil.
Like what you would
emoji
use to
thing?
edit the trade essentially.
Sniper. There we go.
Yep. Are you guys?
No,
Is that the
uh,
one?
no, like
yeah, it's-
the one like it's more so in the there you go. So basically, yeah, you can actually edit collateral, so you could actually take profit, like partial profits. Yeah, you could essentially take as much profit as you wanted up to
Wow.
50% of the position. So yeah, you could take partials right now.
There we go.
Yo, how's Meta doing?
Half of the trade scale.
Man.
wow, let's go,
Yeah.
dude. Sniper just locked in profits.
Yes, Sirski.
Let's go. All right.
And
okay,
yeah, let's
Sniper,
go.
so-
That's a good point. Let's go calculate the opportunity cost. I bet Meta's puking as well.
also, Sniper, real quick on the on
It's
this
not
trade.
actually. I think. Let's look it up.
Sniper, on the trade for Apple. So
Mm-hmm.
your take profit is that take profit below the range here? Your full take profit?
Give me just 1 second. I'm coming back to the Apple. Meta would have worked out too.
Nice.
Not to sound cocky. My full take profit on. I'll probably take a quarter of this. A little bit lower, around 237.27. It looks like that is much more likely to happen than that 237.07. But I will probably take a quarter of these off, and 20 cents lower, and then I'll probably let the rest of them just ride for the duration of the spaces.
Very cool.
Or
Very cool. Nice. All right, that was
Bro,
exciting. I didn't know what to expect.
SPX is flat, bro.
I was gonna say let's
It's classic dispersion, man. Like, you know what I mean?
It
It's like
is flat. Yep.
yeah. Let's see what have you guys ever looked at DSPX at all? Like the dispersion index for the S&P? I look at it like occasionally. Sometimes can like be kind of interesting.
Bad price. While we're waiting on SPX, do you want to pull up Bitcoin on another tab or something? That way we don't have to risk it losing on this tab.
Yeah, just give me a second here. Hold on.
Would love to get some of your thoughts on where you're feeling Bitcoin is headed. If we're gonna pump or if we're cooked.
Up or down, bro? Up or down?
I mean, Flow should be entering Bitcoin positions right now. Let me see.
Let me pull up Bitcoin real quick.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, the real action is gonna be next week. Like everybody comes back from vacation really on the 8th. We're still
Mhm.
kind of like in the slower weeks. Until all the junior, like a few of the junior traders are still running desks right now.
It's funny. I remember you said on the spaces yesterday. I laughed.
It's true. I mean, a lot of people forget that there's actually like workplace, like office dynamics in trading. Like, lunchtime is a real thing.
Yeah,
There
literally.
are times when the algos are kind of left to themselves a lot of the time, and the active traders are, kind of either on vacation or, again, like they're at lunch and things like that. So these are kind of like real market dynamics that people forget sometimes that exist.
This is true. This is true. Bad price. I have your screen pulled up, by the way.
Yeah, so just going through the time frames on the daily right now, this candle today kind of looks a bit ugly. Let's chop the time in half. Putting in, we got this. Okay. So
Should we give Bad Price a third spin?
yeah, so SPX and
Bitcoin is your
SPX.
third spin. Bad price. You can always trade Bitcoin last minute if you're like, dude, there's nothing on SPX. We can go to Bitcoin if we need to. It's our savior.
It's all good, man. I really don't care. It's fine. So when I look at the 12-hour right now, right? Like, I'm okay. So this is momentum, what I'm looking at right now. And you can see this divergence played out. And we are just now kind of printing this small kind of trigger wave on the upside. So pretty much it's just showing momentum's dying down.
Yep.
Right. So chop the time in half again to the 6 hour, and it gives you a better idea. See what I'm saying? Like it just draws the line for you on the divergences. So yeah, so we have momentum kind of dying down. Money flow doesn't look the greatest right now.
Interesting.
What am I doing?
Interesting.
Clicking all kinds of wrong buttons. There we go. Yeah, so it looks it's flashing on the 6 hours, kind of flashing a little like overbought signal. What was that? That was like 12 hours ago or something. Yeah, so right now it just looks like more downside to me. Like we might see a little bit of a bounce back to like these moving averages, but in all honesty, I think Bitcoin's probably overall going lower. I know Steve's been talking about like this 95K level right here.
Yes, him and that both.
Yeah, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Like if you look at like this as a range right here, we're breaking back under this value area high. We're like right in that zone right now. So I can easily see it, you know, coming down. The next level I'm really watching is this 104, 104 and a half kind of area. Yeah, so I'll be targeting that and just got to look and see what the indicators look like when price gets there, if price gets there. But yeah, I mean, overall, like to me right now, this is more of a sit on your hands kind of environment. Like I really don't like trading unless we're overextended in one direction or the other.
Got it.
Right? Yeah. So if it gets down to Steve's target of 95K, you know, we see this as like a big point of control right here for this range. So there's multiple levels of some support down there. But yeah, so kudos to Steve. I think that's a good level to kind of target. And, you know, if we get down there, we get down there.
Yep.
Let's see. It's another, what, like 10, 12%?
That's right.
Yeah, move down. So anyway, I got to use the bathroom real quick, Cade.
That works. That works. Sniper, I think we have you back.
Excuses. No, I'm just kidding.
We're just sitting on autopilot right now, you know. We've already scaled half of these I don't want to call them contracts. We've scaled half of these tokens. We got the other half sitting in here riding. We're still up 9%, just sitting nice and cool. We have bounced. We're pretty far off the lows, but I do have my stop set at entry. So worst case scenario, we will get taken out of entry on the other half, and we have secured half of my profits at the lows or close to it. But this is the fun part about trading when you're kind of sitting in this out. I think also a lot of people have a hard time holding on to it.
We lost you for a second.
Yeah, Sniper, we lost you for like 10 seconds. Probably missed like 2
Oh,
seconds.
yo, that chart. See, this is exactly what like Bits talks about, right? Or I think it was Landy. You know, price looks dumpiest after pumpiest, I guess. So, you know, he got the pump right to the top of the range. I mean, honestly, it was a beautiful setup. Like, you know, I don't really see like his trading view, so I don't know what he's looking at as far as his indicators go or anything like that. But again, you know, keep it simple, right? Like he found a defined range, you know, and price is playing right around that range. I mean, it's honestly kind of a beautiful setup. So
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. When
I was gonna say, there's no way you had another indicator. That one was just clean. It just looked like you're at the top of the range. I feel like.
It was on the screen right there. But I'm not gonna lie. When I'm trading regularly, you know, my options in the morning, it's not much different. It's literally this with the 9 SMA, and the 9 SMA is just a criteria to avoid me from entering bad trades. It's not a criteria to enter into a trade. It's just to stop me if we're very far from the 9 SMA in one direction. I call it the don't screw up indicator.
Question on when a trade is in the middle of a range, what do you guys tend to see when? Because I know a lot of people talk about the center of a range when you're at the top of the range, the bottom of the range, but then they say there's also something about the middle, you know, and they're like, you know, once it gets to the middle, or you know, if it gets to this point, it will always trends back to the center. What are your thoughts on when a trade is in the middle of a range?
It depends. Am I in options?
Maybe give both answers if you can, if you have any thoughts on both. But
yeah,
I know your expertise is more in options, so yeah.
When it comes towards shares or futures, it's a little different than it comes to options. You know, options are a timed trading vehicle. You know, you have to have the timing there because you're your contracts are going to get killed as you continue, and there's nothing happening. But, you know, in my opinion, when we're sitting in the middle of a range, if I'm holding on to futures contracts or if I'm holding on to common shares, you know, I'm not necessarily forced. I have all the time in the world. I could hold this for 10 years, and if it's in the same range, I could hold it for 10 minutes just as much. There's no pressure on timing. So if I'm inside of the shares, I'm not exactly as pressed when it comes towards holding on to a trade in the middle of the range. When it comes towards the options, though, consolidation absolutely kills, guys. You cannot. I can't emphasize that enough. If you are, especially when it comes towards day trading, right? And also, I don't necessarily recommend purely day trading. I think day trading needs to be supplemented with some swing trades, some common share investing, and some midterm trades. I don't know many people who are sole day traders. But honestly, when it comes towards sitting something up, look at that. Apple's popping. I think we should be out of the other half here. Looks like I'm an idiot. Let's just go ahead and close that. Guys, just for the record, I believe that one is user error. I believe that I failed to actually put my stop to entry. When I did that, I typically do that when it comes to options, but I don't know why I just didn't do that. It happens. I'm just going to call it a little blunder. But overall, when I'm looking at this trade as a recap, let's take a look at this Apple 1-minute chart on Ostium. You can see, you know, we've been much higher today. We've been much lower today. But I was able to draw these two micro levels, and I was able to identify this based on that 1106 and based on that, let's just call it 122, 123 rejections. And I'm sorry, no, 1106 and the 112 rejection. And when we're
Cutting out there, Sniper.
Yeah, I lost him.
how am I doing now?
Yeah, it looks like price went and cracked those highs right there. Looks like it might catch another rejection. Yeah, I'm out of my trade too. Like pretty much flat. So
yeah, but overall, not a bad trade, honestly. If I was in this, you know, even in my options account, and when I'm actually like recapping my analysis on this, and when I'm comparing it towards my trading view chart, honestly, I don't hate this at all. And you know, again, I'm just betting on history repeating itself, plain and simple. You know, and I was just fortunate enough to be on Apple, and you know, when we look at Apple, there was something forming up there, but it looks like again, looks like we're trading above that level now. So the breakout might be there. I don't know, but I'm honestly just going to sit on my hands for the sake of the competition.
Very nice. Let's head over.
Yeah, I'm looking at SPX right now, and it's funny because price is now kind of creeping right up. Like, can you see my trading view? Am I sharing it?
No, I can see. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because price is now kind of going right up towards that value area high. Like I was talking about it earlier, if I was really looking for a short on this, you know, it would be when it's extended a bit. So, I would want it to kind of get a little bit above this value area high without cracking these previous highs right here, right? And it looks like it's catching a rejection kind of like right off of it right now. We'll see how it goes, though. It looks like it might have a little bit more steam in it. Especially like things like Apple. How's Apple doing? Is it moving higher right now? Because that's heavily weighted on the indices, you know, the indices. So.
Nvidia is like what? Like, is it like double digits of the index at this point?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of these issues are so heavily weighted that, you know, really you should just be paying attention to those. Like the Mag 7, right? Like make a chart. You can custom make a chart of the Mag 7. As a matter of fact, let me look and see.
I think Meta honestly is actually what's carrying like the Mag 7, and actually Amazon. Looking at Amazon,
Well,
Amazon is up almost
share
4%
screen?
today.
I would love to pull those up if you want.
Yeah, we can do that.
You don't have to do
Here's a chart of the Mag 7 right here.
Bad price.
So this
oh,
is the Max 7.
nice.
Yeah, so you can just chart out, like you can custom make a chart. Just go in your trading view, add symbol, and then just boom. Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Meta, Tesla, Amazon, Google. Just put this up here and then just hit enter and boom. You
I
got
think there's a
yourself
good argument for that being your portfolio. The Mag 7 is like half of these. I mean, it's like half of the S&P, like, and the Nasdaq anyways. I think there's like if you can like stomach the volatility, man, I think there's seriously a good argument for that being your kind of Mag 7 or just being your market portfolio at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I pay attention to like the Max 7 more so than, anything else when I'm looking at traditional markets. It's just pretty much so heavily weighted that, it's going to move the whole thing. So if you're not charting this chart, I definitely would add it.
Very nice. Very nice. Flo, let me know if you want me to come around onto your screen as well. I'm not sure if you're sharing, but
Yeah, it's been having some issues, but we can
Okay,
try again in a
awesome.
second. But
all good. Nice. Bad price. By the way, why does your charts look so fancy? What are these colors? And it just looks so nice. It's so,
Yeah, I
it
got
looks a
colors
lot,
on there.
but it also just looks nice.
All right, so I'll do a quick rundown. Up here, top panel, I have two different kinds of money flows, right? I got this money flow and this one. They're just weighted differently. This kind of tosses overbought and oversold signals as well. This gray box right here and down here. Let me see. Moving on to the next one. It's momentum. And really, like, these are the two indicators I pay attention to the most. Like, I just know them so well. I've been working with them for so long that it just becomes kind of second nature. So let me see under that. Okay, I'll go to the bottom one actually, because this is also money flow and momentum. It's just something I'm trying out right now. It's kind of a clone copy of what's it called, Market Cipher. So I'm comparing it to the traditional Market Cipher. By the way, the momentum and money flow are also Market Cipher B. So I'm just, toss this up to kind of compare, see how this clone copy of it, I forget what they call this. I forget what this is called. But yeah, just, running a comparison, see how it performs against the traditional Market Cipher B.
Nice. By the way,
Then I
guys,
have a stochastic RSI right here.
by the way, guys, we do have to close off the trades here in like literally 30 seconds. It's got an alarm thing. So bad price. Are you still in the trade?
No, I closed my
trade.
I closed my trade out. I think I was down like 4-6%. It was pretty much flat, man.
Yeah,
like,
it looked like the SPX chart was flat. So
yeah, the
that
SPX
unfortunate,
was just flat. I mean, even like I'll pull it up on lower time frame, you can see.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
was saw
been-
earlier that chart was brutal. Honestly, that was slightly unlucky on your side of things. Next thing, I guess next time we'll hope for slightly more.
Yeah, you need volatility.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're scalping, you're going to need volatility if you scalp. But it's all good. I mean, kudos to Snipe. He got the right issue at the right time.
Oh yeah,
Great entry. I like one thing that I'll also compliment on his entry is he really didn't second guess himself. He was like, okay, this looks good right here. Boom. I'm entering.
Price, we do have to bounce here in like 30 seconds for the space. So just to jump in. But I do want to say, Price, shout out to you for coming through and taking a trade that you maybe wouldn't have on SPX just for the sake of.
It's all good. I hate losing anything.
I know,
so,
dude. I know. I hear it. But we'll
Snipe,
get you back
I'm
on
coming
another
for
one.
you.
Yeah,
I'm coming for you. Yeah, we should do the same issue. Like we should do the same asset, right? I think that would
we
be
could. I think that would be interesting, actually. We'll have to think about some ideas here. But Sniper, I want to say big shout out to you, man, for coming through and also placing a really awesome trade. And I guess we'll see you into the next round. So appreciate you coming through and trading here on Ostium with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. Right
That's
on. And,
fucked up, Snipe. You beat me, Snipe.
well, so
Snipe,
everyone at
you
home,
beat me,
we really
dog.
appreciate all of you. Appreciate everyone who comes through these streams. If you haven't already, be sure to sign up with Ostium using code WolfC. Comment down below in the stream. You can find all the information down below. If you guys want to get started and start trading on Ostium, you can trade Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, indices, S&P, Apple, whatever you want to trade. It's all there, all with up to 100x leverage. Catch you guys all in the next space or stream. We're starting here in like 5 seconds on Spaces talking about Art Blaze. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. And boom.